Before we jump into a few examples here, and to make it clear that this video is optional. This is intended for people who are struggling with the percent problems. I'm going to provide another way through a percent bar diagram that may make more sense to you than the percent equation. So if you have been doing fine with the percent equation, watching this video is not necessary. If you have been struggling, stick through this video. I'm going to give you another strategy in order to solve some percent problems. I have 4 examples lined up here. However long you watch this video is up to you. I'm taking the extra time to give you guys resources if you're stuck. So please, if you're stuck, take advantage of it. All right, I'm going to read through this first. Shannon used 84% of the money in his savings account to buy a new iPhone that cost him $1,050. So it costs him that much. How much money is left in Shannon's savings account? By the way, this one came from a Monday's Quizzy that a lot of you actually got this question wrong. All right, so it's asking how much money is left. How much money is left in his savings account? Another way to approach this, other than the percent formula, you can set up what's called a bar diagram or a tape diagram. That looks like this. Now, in this bar diagram here, this is going to represent 0%. You can either put your percents at the top or bottom. It just needs to be consistent, meaning if you put your percents up here at the top, they should go at the top always. And if you put them at the bottom, they should be at the bottom. Now, the total over here on the right side is 100%. So I'm always starting there. Now I'm going to the question. Shannon used 84% of his money. So I'm going approximately to 84. I'm drawing a line and I'm labeling this 84%. Okay? Now it says he used 84% of the money's in savings account, and that cost him $1,050. So what that means is he used this much money, kind of shading this in here. He used all the way up to 84%, and that cost him $1,050. Okay? So the 84% of his money is $1,050. We are trying to find the total or the original amount. The 100% always stands for the original amount. So we can find out, our goal is basically to find this out. How much is left over? This 16%. Now, the benefits of using a bar diagram, let me get rid of that, is it creates a proportion for you. Right here. So I'm going to write this neater on this side. You have 84% over 1,050 equals 100% over X, which is what we don't know. Now, once we're here, you can either find the scale factor, but this is not a very easy scale factor problem. So instead, you can cross multiply. And what you're going to end up getting here is 105,000 equals 84x. And then to solve this, you divide. Remember, cross multiply, and then you end up dividing. And I'm picking up my calculator now. So we got 105,000 divided by 84. That gets a value of 1,250. Okay? Now, that's not the answer to the question, because the question is asking how much he has left, and this value represents his total amount. So all we need to do now, and some of you put that as your answer, is you take the total amount and subtract how much the phone costs, and you end up with $200, which is the answer to this question. So, once again with the bar diagram, we set it up, we labeled our 0 and 100, we labeled our 84, and we knew that 84 went with 105 1050, excuse me. And then I had my proportion set up for me. Now, let's look at a second example. And I always encourage you as we go through these examples to pause and try it on your own and then just use the video as confirmation that you did it correctly. So, the cost of a pair of Jordans was decreased by 50% and sold for $76.49. What was the original price? So we need to find that 100% starting amount. All right, so you can once again use the percent formula, but this video is for people who are struggling with that formula. Down here is nothing or 0%. Up here is our 100%. All right, now I'm going to read this carefully and think through it. The cost was decreased by 15%. That means it got smaller by 15%, making it 85%. Okay? The normal 100%, which is always kind of our total, right? It got smaller by 15. So now we're here. And once it decreased by 15%, it sold for $76.49. So the $76.49 is going under the 85% because the question is stating it was decreased by 15 and then it sold for this much. And the question is asking us to find the original amount. So there's no way this $76.49 goes under the original amount because the question is asking us to solve for that value. Now, my proportion is once again set up nice and neat for me. So what I have is 85, oops, sorry about that. 85 in my numerator on the left, 76.49 in my denominator. And that's going to equal to the 100 over x. Once again here, I'm going to cross multiply. So that's going to get 7,649 equals 85x. You divide both sides by 85 to solve. And I'm picking up my calculator. And x ends up getting this kind of messy number of 89 point, I'm just going to round it to 89.99. Okay, so the original price of the Jordans was approximately $89.99. Okay. Once again, this just comes down to setting up our bar diagram and making sure the values are placed in the correct spot. All right, let's look at a markup or markdown problem here with example number 3. Harold buys a used car for $7,200 and plans to sell it on his used car lot. What is the price of the car after a markup of 15%? So a markup is an increase, right? Markup means the price is going up. So let's create our bar diagram. Start with the essentials. This is 0%. Actually, just to show you, I'm going to write this on the bottom this time. This is 0%. And let me make this over here 100%. So that means my numeric values are going to go on the top and my percentages are going to go on the bottom. It's not going to make any difference. Now, he bought a car for $7,200 and then he marked it up 15%. So the starting point is this $7,200. It's our 100% total. Then what he did is he increased by 15%. So watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add some more on here. And I'm going to make this 115%. Because I'm adding the 15% onto 100%. Making 115%. Now, I don't know what this is, which is my goal. But what I do have is my proportion. Set up nice and neat. I'm going to write it down here. we got 7,200 over the percent this time, flipping it around. It's not going to make a difference. Equals our unknown amount that it sold for over the 115%. Now, cross multiply here and here. What that's going to get is 100x, and 115 times 1,700 gets 828,000. Now I simply divide by 100, which basically just moves the decimal 2 places over. So I get $8,280 right here. Okay? So after the markup, the car is priced at $8,280. So, similar concept as these previous two. The difference this time, and I'm sorry if you can hear the sirens outside, but the difference this time is it's increasing. It is marked up by 15, so we're adding that 15% off rather than taking away based on the other two examples. All right, one more, and hopefully this is providing clarity for you guys. I'm really hoping it is, especially if you've been stuck. Now, this one's a little bit more challenging because it's two parts. Because we have an original price of $55. And now we have a 20% discount. And we have a 5.5% tax. And we have to find how much she'll pay in total here. What you cannot do is combine these percents together. You have to do what's called a double. A double, this case it's a discount and then a sales tax, so it's not a double discount. But you need to do this percentages separately. So you're going to need two bar diagrams here. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to put my percents back on the top because I like it on the top better with the percentages, but it doesn't matter. Now, 55 is the original price. So 55 is going underneath or above, depending on how you have it set up, the 100%. That's our starting point. Now, we have a discount of 20%. That means we are subtracting 20%, which gets 80%. So this represents the amount of discount. What's remaining over here to the left of this line is how much is left to be paid. Okay, but this is how much it's off. This is our unknown. We got our proportion. Okay, we're going to cross multiply. We're going to do 80 times 55, and that's going to equal 100x. Now, 80 times 55 is 4,400. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 100, and I get 44. So what this 44 means is 44 is the price after the 20% off. We saved $11, right? It's $11 cheaper because this is 44 as instead of 55. So our discount is $11, but we end up paying $44. 44 now, because we have another percent to deal with, 44 becomes our new 100%. And what I mean by that is when I set up my second bar diagram here, I am not going to put 55 underneath this 100. I'm going to put 44 because that is now our new total we're working with. And tax is going to be taken on this discounted amount. Now, tax is added on. So I'm going to add the 5.5% on, and this becomes 105.5%. And this is my unknown. I don't know how much it costs now after the tax. I do know after the discount, but not after the tax. Once again, my proportion is now set up for me because of the bar diagram. When I cross multiply, I get 100x, and 44 times 105.5 is 4,642. When I divide both sides by 100, I get $46.42. So Sabri pays $46.42 after the discount and the sales tax are applied. Extend this. Okay? So, still using the bar diagrams, but because we're dealing with two percentages, we need to create two. The key point here is after you apply the first percentage, that answer becomes your new 100%. You do the bar diagram all over again. So that wraps up these 4 examples. I'm hoping that provided some clarity if you were stuck with the percent formula and provide you with a different strategy to approach the problems. If you still need additional help, my office hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2:30 to 4. The link is posted in Google Classroom, so all you need to do is click it or call in with the number that is there, and you can get some additional support. I hope that helps. Keep working your hardest and persevering.